Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check.
Please take your seats. Good afternoon. Happy New Year and welcome to the City Council's 2024 swearing-in ceremony and organization meeting. We are streaming live on YouTube and City Channel 12. I'd like to acknowledge all of the dignitaries who have RSVP'd and who have joined us here today for this special occasion. I'd like to recognize Bill Maley, Supervisor of the Town of Brighton, Assemblywoman Sarah Clerk, Senator Samru Brook, Senator Jeremy Cooney, former President of the Monroe County Legislature, Sabrina Lamar, Judge Karen Morris of the Town of Brighton, City Court Judge Constance Patterson, County Clerk Jamie Romeo, Board of Education Commissioner Jackie Griffin, former City Council President and former Mayor Lovely Warren, and of course our current Mayor Malik Evans. We will first begin with the swearing in of the Council's 4 district members. And we will begin with the Northeast District Representative, Michael A. Patterson. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Patterson will be sworn in by Jeffrey Medford.
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Council
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Council
according to my best ability.
according to my best abilities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother
Congratulations.
Jeff. So I'll be brief. I am the old man on council. 10 years ago, I was the new guy on council. And I'm not a big church dude, and I've never really been a church dude, but I've learned that as time goes on, sometimes you just need to follow directions and do what the Lord tells you to do. And so I had a whole plan for who was going to swear me in today, and it was one of our constituents in the neighborhood. And I gave her a call last night and said, "Hey, sister, how you doing?" She's like, "Hey, I got a cold. I'm sick as a dog, Mike. I can't make it." I'm like, "Okay, well, let me see who else I can reach out to." So I called Jeff Medford, the gentleman who just swore me in, part of the Bloom Coalition, part of this whole thing that we're building in Rochester around a cannabis industry, part of that leadership that came out of Mayor Warren's administration and the Ruby Commission. And 4 years ago when I got sworn in, I didn't know nothing about cannabis. I really still don't. But I work collaboratively with the people in the community. 4 years ago, I didn't know Jeff Medford. But for the last 2 years, I've been working, Jeff and the Bloom Coalition and many of our other folks in this community have worked collaboratively and our current mayor, Mayor Evans, have worked collaboratively to bring this industry forward in Rochester. I bring that to your attention because of this. We don't always know the challenges that we will face. I mean, who knew that assessments would be like a big deal that we would be dealing with this year? And it's going to be a big deal that we're going to be dealing with this year. But part of the job of being an elected official is rising to the challenge and having the courage to step forward and to unfortunately sometimes ignore the loud screaming voice and listen to the quiet voices of your community that are actually representative of the people. That's the work, ladies and gentlemen. That's the work I'm committed to doing. That's the work I've been doing, and that's the work I'm going to keep doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Patterson. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Next, we have the South District Representative, Lachey D. Harris. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Harris will be sworn in by Rodney Brown. Yes.
I, Lachey D. Harris, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Council
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the City Council accordingly to the best of my ability. Yes.
You are in.
I gotta wear these now because I broke my other glasses. I made a couple of remarks and I wrote them down because I do still get nervous, and that's just me being honest. Pull up what I have here. I want to say thank you to Council President Melendez. Thank you to my colleagues on City Council. Thank you, residents of Rochester, and esteemed elected officials for your support throughout my campaign, and all of you for being here today. I want to thank my husband, Rodney, and my family, who also have supported me through this journey. This journey has been a long journey, and in Rochester, I want to thank you for your hard work and vote. That doesn't work no more. This November is definitely different from the last time I ran, and actually, it brings me to a level of humility and gratefulness to continue to serve as South District Council member. I do not take that lightly. Post-COVID, Rochester, along with many cities across the country, is battling challenges. Despite those challenges, we continue to work to make things better. I believe in my last 4 years, despite the challenges, we have moved forward in the following. We fought for mental health illness in the city crisis using the Persons in Crisis Unit. We fought for gun violence using, with my esteemed colleague, Lightfoot's Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition, and the launch of the reported anonymous reporting system for the non-emergency crime ticks along with our Mayor Evans, fighting for homelessness with my colleagues with renovations to Peace Village, providing 15 units for housing for our residents of vulnerability. And we continue to provide resources, carving out things for the Police Accountability Board. And myself and the mayor and a host of folks have hosted the first ever estate planning summit. In my office, we have an allocation of $15,000 to our community. The Susan B. Anthony neighborhood, a little library, a little free library that was located there, Southwest Planning Committee, Plex Neighborhood, Multi-Craft Apprentice Program, Southwest Coats Organization, and the 19th Ward Community Association, and Senior Expressions, to name a few. These are not final solutions to challenges. However, these are motions in the right direction. We must continue to work on those things to continue to help our neighborhood, businesses, and reimagine our downtown. For these things to happen, we must reduce crime, improve the quality of our neighborhoods, continue to work on housing for our residents while encouraging home ownership, and bring a more livable, wage-paying jobs to the city of Rochester. That body of work, it is cut out. Our body has its work to cut out since we are still dealing with challenges of inflation, in post-COVID society. I believe the glass is not half empty, but half full. I look forward to being optimistic, and looking forward to continuing the work, having difficult conversations, and pushing for a better Rochester. The best is yet to come.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Next, we have East District Representative Councilmember Mary Lupien. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Lupien will be sworn in by Maya Sophia Sosoff Lupien.
Repeat after me. I, Mary Agnes Lupien,
I, Mary Agnes Lupien,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the City Council
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming. I stand here today with profound sense of gratitude and humility, embracing the honor of serving another term as your representative for the East District on City Council. As I begin my second term, I am filled with this deep sense of responsibility and commitment to serve you all with courage and integrity. In the past 4 years, our collective efforts have yielded bold and innovative solutions. We have championed progressive policies that prioritize the well-being of our people and the preservation of our planet, standing firm against the influence of the wealthy and powerful. Yet as we celebrate these achievements, we recognize the increasing challenges faced by our Rochester families, with our children tragically being impacted the most. The urgency to address the basic needs of our community, spanning food, housing, education, youth engagement, physical and emotional well-being, and community safety have never been more pressing. Looking ahead to the next 4 years, it's not just an aspiration, but an imperative that we ensure that housing is a fundamental human right, and we prioritize community safety by deploying the right response at the right time. We must cultivate meaningful connections and opportunities for our youth to prevent violence and foster their success and fulfillment. In these critical times, the call for diversity of thought echoes louder than ever. Democracy flourishes when multiple perspectives collaborate to uncover the most effective solutions. And as this council moves forward, we must commit to the collaboration and valuing of diverse viewpoints that will ensure the continuous improvement of not just this legislative body, but of our city as a whole. The quote, "To change everything, we need everyone." This is a guiding principle that encapsulates our journey ahead as we strive to build a more resilient, equitable, and vibrant Rochester. Your input and the input of all of our constituents, collaboration, and support have been a driving force behind our progress. And I'm excited to continue making progress with all of you. Thank you for entrusting me with the privilege to serve you once again.
Thank you, Councilmember Lupien. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Finally, we have Northwest District Representative Bridget Monroe. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Monroe will be sworn in by Lizette, Liam, and Ronan Monroe.
Repeat after me. I, Bridget Monroe,
I, Bridget Monroe,
do solemnly affirm
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Council
and that that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. I'll just put those under there for now. I am so very happy and honored to be here today to take my seat on this esteemed body. The oath I've just taken carries great weight for me, and I do not take lightly the importance of governing. I have worked as staff to local elected officials for nearly 25 years. Most of my time has been with the city, supporting City Council as a member of their staff. Nothing made me feel as involved and in touch with this city as having the pleasure of working in City Hall and being part of this great class of employees who all chose public service over commercial enterprise or corporate gain. We are all here to serve. No matter the job, what we do matters. What we do touches people's lives, their daily lives, from clean water, paved and light-lighted streets, to business and housing grants, and making policy that transforms our community for the betterment of all. That my accumulated knowledge and experience can now be put to work as a decision maker representing the great Northwest District is exciting and humbling. In fact, I cannot stress enough how personally meaningful it is to me to be back at City Hall. And returning in this capacity as a City Council member is about as good as it gets. I asked my children to swear me in because my campaign was very much a family venture. After growing up listening to me talk about Rochester politics at the dinner table and watching me work hard as an RCSD parent advocate, when I told them I wanted to run for this office, they said, each in their own way, "It's about time, Mom." They walked for me, knocked on doors, and told people why they should vote for me. They dropped literature and encouraged me throughout the stressful process of running. My partner became the treasurer. We both became webmasters of a sort. I did the graphic design and messaging. My daughter Lizette became my photographer and social media guru. I also had incredible neighbors and friends who walked with me, dropped literature, and made phone calls for me, including a brother in New Jersey and a sister in Tennessee. To my great relief, I found an excellent, tremendously qualified campaign manager a few weeks into my run when I bumped into an old friend, Mitch Rowe, at a Charlotte Community Association meeting. I told him I was running, and he said he'd help me in any way. So the next day, I called him with my biggest ask to be my campaign manager, and without hesitation, he said yes. I couldn't have hoped for anyone better suited for this job than this former longtime city employee, former Monroe County legislator, recently retired county manager of Seneca County, and a lifelong Northwest resident. I was thrilled to have this dynamo in my corner. I was touched and heartened by the support of former council members with whom I had worked and from whom I had learned so much. Brian Curran, Carolee Conklin, Carla Palumbo, and Molly Clifford through their support behind me. I got fantastic moral support from my colleagues at the town of Brighton and encouragement from town board members and even town justices and the chief of police. And then there's my boss, Brighton Town Supervisor Bill Maley, who was the first person outside of my household that I told I was running for office. His positivity, advice, and flexibility were huge contributors to my success. What I enjoyed most about the campaign were the discussions I had with people at their doors or in their living rooms, on the sidewalk, or while touring a proud gardener's patch of beauty. I shared my priorities for the Northwest, and they in turn shared theirs. People asked me questions, and some pressed me hard to know the details about my priorities and to prove to them why they should get my vote. I listened and I learned, and I'm thankful to everyone who opened their door and shared their time with me. I shared handshakes and hugs with strangers. I met parents, too many parents, who lost their children to gun violence and who took the time to share their stories and their grief with me. The safety of our families is my #1 priority, but there is no single plan to lift everyone's quality of life. Rather, it is a combination of moving pieces that must shift and change to meet the fluid needs of our residents, while building strong foundations through sound budgeting, excellent public works, increased youth recreation, especially in the Northwest, more quality housing and home ownership so that families can build generational wealth, as well as adding more trees to our streets and turning vacant lots into usable land for the neighbors who live by them. Part of the puzzle includes shining a light on domestic violence and having honest discussions about how violence and violence against women poison people's lives and too often ends up being perpetuated by future generations. There are many normalized ways of doing business, as it were, that must be questioned and stripped away so we can end systemic racism, sexism, homophobia, and the strange notion that poverty is a character flaw rather than a condition of circumstance any one of us can find ourselves in. Rochester is a beautiful city with beautiful people and an exemplary tradition of progressive thought. I look forward to helping make Rochester a green city, one that will make the maps, draw people here, and create more jobs. The Northwest District is a microcosm of the entire city, with a great diversity of cultures and ethnicities and incomes, and it is my solemn promise to work hard to best represent the needs of all of my constituents, and thereby the city as a whole. As the youngest of 9 children, I find it fitting that I get to join this body of 9, and I look forward to working with my fellow council members and Mayor Malik Evans and his administration together as a strong team devoted to the betterment of this great city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Monroe. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. At this point, I would like to call the organizational meeting of the City Council to order, and I will call the roll. Councilmember Gruber,
Here.
Councilmember Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian,
Here.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Melendez,
Here.
Councilmember Monroe,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
I would like to ask everyone to please join us in a moment of silence. Councilmember Gruber, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? We will now open the floor for motions for the selection of the President of the City Council. Are there any motions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion
Yes.
to elect Miguel Melendez as President of City Council.
Is there a second? Are there any other motions?
Yes.
Motion.
I move to elect Councilmember LaShaye Harris as President of the City Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other motions? All right, then it is time to vote for either Councilmember Melendez or Councilmember Harris for President of the City Council.
I think there's room for discussion, no?
Yes, there is, if you would like
Prior
to.
to the. So with two names being up right now and President Melendez being the former president and having 2 years to lead this body, I do have some questions around your leadership, what you plan to do differently. Starting with one of the issues we've had as a body is feeling that the body isn't unified in decision making. Certain people are excluded from decisions, and that was exemplified by the amendment of the council rules, in which at least 3 council members were left out of that discussion, and the legislation for the new council rules were submitted around 1:45 on the day of the organizational meeting. Can you explain to me this pattern of doing things at the last minute, and 2, intentionally excluding council members from such important decisions that shape the entire body?
Thank you, Councilmember Martin. So first and foremost, the rule changes are not amendments. Every 2 years we propose new rules. There's certainly some recommendations that I would like to walk through once we get to that item. But as far as the timing of this, we had some challenges with some of the rule changes in language, getting final language. We engaged the law department and we got final answers today. And so that is when the rules were released. Certainly, there was room for discussion, but I'll say this much, and I'm not trying to make an excuse on this, but last week I was sick as a dog, and that really hampered my ability to do anything last week in terms of providing an update related to this. So certainly room for improvement, but that is essentially where we stand. The rules were finalized today and then released to the body.
Still sticking with that and making changes that are sudden and not including the voices of the entire body. I noticed in the documents that were shared with us today at 1:45, there is a change in the council committees And the only committee that is headed by a black woman is one of the ones that are being abolished from the list of committees. Can you speak to, and I'm sure you may not perceive it as, you know, this may be a problem because there may not be enough legislation going through that, but for us, we see a black woman leading a committee that surrounds human services and recreation, a committee that's very important to the wellness of our city, and for that to be suddenly removed without explanation, can you speak to that? And in addition, can you speak to how you plan to ensure that there are women being represented as chairs on the new committees you've created?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Martin. So the committees that were, the one committee that was combined with PPW was Recreation and Human Services. The recommendation was based on analysis of the amount of legislation that was coming through that committee, which was very minimal. It is my hope that there is an opportunity to not just be more efficient as a council, but also have leadership in various positions. And it is my hope that there will be a black woman that is chairing a committee as well. So I do believe that moving forward, we will certainly take into consideration some of the challenges you're mentioning in terms of communication, but I will tell you that the consolidation of the committee was purely based on the amount of legislation that we receive.
Willing to see the floor for anyone else to ask questions. I do have additional questions, but I want to be mindful.
Councilman Martin, is the rule change that you're referring to specifically around the change in terms of no abstentions?
So I'm referring to, so I have a document here with a couple of additional highlights. It wasn't just that. There's a change to the time of the regular council meetings, moving them from 6:30 to 6 p.m., I believe, amongst others that are highlighted, and I'm happy to share this with you.
I have the same document. So I'm wondering, because the changes around times and everything else have been things that we've been I believe all in communication with on email. The only one that I see that's different would be on, I guess the pages aren't numbered, but numeral 9 around voting, which there was a question at a recent council meeting around that we had on the floor, the 9 of us, or the 8 of us in the previous council, and law told us this is following Robert's rules, and it's really just an indication of putting Robert's rules into our rules. Are there other rules changes that come as a surprise to you in here?
Absolutely. The pages aren't numbered, but on page 3, where it talks about how people who sign up are going to be prioritized, that's another change that wasn't discussed with the entire body. Again, the changes to the committee names and structure is something else that wasn't discussed. So outside of the one that you mentioned, there are several that I feel that procedurally we should have all been involved in and made aware of, and our input should have been asked for before these changes were proposed at 1:45 today.
Yeah. Personally, I think that this mostly reflects conversations that we've had collectively, including, I mean, the one you're referring to is around, just for the public to know, it's around city residents being prioritized on speak to council lists and non-city residents being not deprioritized, but putting after city residents first. I think that's something that we've talked about over the course of council meetings being the right thing to do. So I hear your frustration. I just want to state for the record, as you stated for the record, around your concern with President Melendez's decisions on this. I think it's a full reflection of what we've talked about, what's right, and I'm looking forward to voting for him again for president.
Yeah, and I disagree. As a man in a leadership position who has the ear of the president, your experience is going to be different from me as a black queer woman who has been marginalized by the president and other members of this council. So I respect you sharing your opinion, but I also have to note that mine is completely different from yours, and I see.
Yeah, I just want to add, Councilmember Gruber, that it's clear from your comments that you have had significant input on these rules changes. I heard from a fellow council member that there were going to be rules changes. We were not informed that there were rules changes coming. Right before this meeting is the first time that I've seen this document. And I will say that I expressed to President Melendez a desire to be chair of the Parks of the Recreation and Human Services Department on Friday and was still not told that that committee was going away. So that shows me a desire to intentionally omit and hide these changes from the three of us.
Councilmember Harris, my experience with you in your leadership of the parks and of the Recreation and Human Services has been extremely positive. I do feel that you have been able to hear my voice when I've talked to you about different things going on. You have actively, brought in the department to have presentations and all of that. If you were to be elected, could you speak to what you may do differently, or what uniting the body may mean to you?
Okay, Councilmember Stanley Martin, thank you for your vote of confidence and your nomination. I will humbly decline. I will tell you why. And again, please do not take lightly that, I do not take lightly that you guys have voted or would like to vote me in as president, but I will tell you that I believe the right thing to do is to continue the president that we have now, because, one of the things that I think about is we need to be united, not divided. And we don't need more division. We don't need more divisiveness. And, as much as I appreciate it, but I gotta humbly decline. I support Miguel Melendez and his vision. I encourage you to continue to work on our relationship. I'm optimistic that we can repair the past, but we have to actively work on it collectively, but earnestly, sincerely, no games. And I'm not indicting anyone here on this dais. I respect all of you in your respective places and understand that the residents of the city of Rochester have elected you duly, and you deserve to have a voice. And I respect your voice, even though I may disagree. I'm okay with that, but we must learn to disagree without the challenges we've had in the past. We must disagree with discourse, with proper discourse. And I'm just challenging our council to rise to that occasion. I'm not indicting anyone. I'm just saying tomorrow's a better day. And we can do better together, collectively. We're all Democrats. And I'm urging you guys to do the same.
If I may,
Yes.
I think that is the example of why we wanted to vote for you as president, because in my experience, and in the 2 years that I have been on council, I have really looked towards leadership to unite this council. And so being told that it is not a responsibility of leadership to unite this council was very disappointing. And so I would ask our President Melendez, what is your priority in uniting this council and at the very least bringing us to consensus and really showing what a just democracy could look like amongst the 9 of us, even in the midst of our disagreeing, because every voice matters.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Let me start by saying this. My entire career, life's work, engagement in community has been about bringing people together. I think I've learned a lot in the last 2 years about how difficult it can be when you have 9 duly elected leaders with very different opinions on how we should move forward. In saying that, and I know the comment that you're referencing, Councilmember Smith, I did tell you that there's some challenges with it being the sole mission to unite the body. But I've never wavered from being who I am in this space and doing my best to work with people and bring people together. I probably spent more time, to be honest, Councilmember Smith, with you than the majority of my council colleagues one-on-one in an effort to try to build a relationship and to move the city forward. And it is my hope that if given the opportunity, I'm certainly here collecting a lot of feedback right now, I will be able to have these conversations and bring the body together to have more discussion about how we move forward.
Yes, Councilman.
So, let me be clear. I will be supporting Miguel Melendez for president of this body. And to the 3 council members who are engaging in this quest for consensus and unity, I humbly submit to you that you certainly have not sought consensus in your time on this body, and you've done nothing to promote or advance unity. You don't work collaboratively or collectively with the majority of this body. And though we all may be Democrats in title, some of us are Democrats and some of y'all are socialists. And there ain't nothing wrong with being a socialist if that's what you want to be. But we see the world differently. And our approach to governing is different. And I feel no obligation to defer to your opinion if the majority of the body feels otherwise. So if you'd like to advance things and do things differently, I humbly suggest that you start in the mirror. I humbly suggest that you look at developing relationships with other members of this body. Now, look, I ain't gonna sit here and play no games. I don't pump with y'all. Just don't. I tried when you came on. Saw you, took your measure, saw your character, made a decision. I talked to you on the DS. I talked to you as a function of doing the job. But otherwise, I don't mess with y'all. And I'm good with it. Now, on those times and those instances when we can work collaboratively together, you know, those 2 times a day when the stop clock is correct, we'll work together. But 5-4 rules the day. So if 5 of us think this is what it is, that's what it's gonna be. Unless we need 6. And there's really just 3 of y'all. So it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. We're gonna do what we're gonna do, and you get to feel how you feel. Thank you.
I think your worldview and how you move through this space clearly demonstrates why you are not being nominated for presidency. It demonstrates so much about you, and all I'm gonna say is congrats.
Is there any further discussion?
Just, Madam Clerk, I want to, or I should say interim president, council president, acting council president, I just want to state that for the record and for understanding and clarity, that we're voting on one person due to the fact that there's been a nomination for an additional person, Councilperson LaShae Harris, who has humbly declined that nomination. So therefore, for the record, to be stated as we vote, ladies and gentlemen and colleagues, tonight, as we take this vote, that we're voting for one vote, one person, yay or nay, or I don't, you know, for Miguel Melendez as president of this body, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
I've been clear that I think that leadership in times of crisis should stay the course. And I am supporting Miguel Melendez, but not without my reservations. And I have, when we first got on, when we first embarked on this journey together, there was a lot more willingness to be transparent and seek ideas. And in the last, really in the last year, a few months, the tendency to, if 5 got it, 5 are the only people that know about it. And I would like your commitment, Miguel, in the future to, you can't control our relationships, but you can control in the manner in which you communicate with us. And I would like to get your commitment to do more to make sure all 9 of us know what's going on and that we're not surprised when we get up on the dais. And I understand you could probably shoot that back at me, but I'm not the president. And the 3 of us, the minority, we don't have the power to do that communicating, but you do. And I would hope that in the future as a way to do better governing, right? The 5 majority may not always have the best answer. And I understand that 3 or 4 of us might not have the answer that you all agree with, but we can contribute something, and that you would seek out our voice as a part of this conversation.
Thank you, Councilmember Lupian, and I will make that commitment. I will work to do better.
I've been talking a lot. Please go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And Happy New Year, everybody. My understanding in our new corporate counsel, congratulations to sir. I just want for clarification so that we vote properly. That nomination would have to be removed, correct?
I think the best course at this point would, yes, either be to withdraw the motion nominating Councilmember Harris, or to proceed to a roll call, and everybody could vote for either Councilmember Melendez or Councilmember Harris, with the understanding that even if Councilmember Harris were to prevail, she could decide not to take the title, and so it would all be for naught.
So I guess the first thing we could ask, that I would humbly ask for, is would the makers of the motion be willing to withdraw that nomination so that we can vote one vote? And if not, then I understand from corporate counsel that we will make that vote and we would just do that by last name. And then that would determine who gets the majority of the vote would determine. And if it was Councilmember Harris that got majority of the vote, she could then at that time humbly decline that if she so chooses. Correct, sir?
That's correct, Councilmember.
Thank you. So to my point, would the makers of the motion and second of that motion be willing to withdraw that nomination?
I withdraw the nomination of LaShaye Harris for council president.
Does that need a second? Would the second of the nomination would be willing to do that?
Second, I respect your wishes, and I look forward to continuing to work with you, Councilmember.
All in favor? Are you going to call roll call vote, please?
Okay, roll call vote on the rescinding of the motion to nominate LaShaye Harris for president.
We don't need to do that?
No?
We don't need to.
Okay, so it's all done? It's
we
rescinded?
good?
That motion
Okay.
is rescinded.
All right.
Now
All right, so at this time then, we will do a roll call vote to vote for president of the city council. We have one nominee, and that is Miguel Melendez. So it will be a roll call vote, and as I call your name, please tell us what your vote is. Councilmember Gruber.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Melendez.
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe.
Aye.
Councilmember Patterson.
Absolutely.
And Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
All right. That is an affirmative, and you are now the president of the city council. Congratulations, President Melendez. Please go to the floor. Please go to the floor to be sworn in as president. President Melendez will be sworn in by Ida Perez.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Repeat after me. I, Miguel Melendez Jr.,
I, Miguel Melendez Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President of City Council
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President of City Council
according to my best ability.
according to the best of my abilities. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called the hot seat. So I am humbled and honored to continue in this role. I would like to start off by thanking God for putting me in this position to make an impact in this community, especially to my wife and kids. My daughter, Aaliyah, wave Aaliyah, who make the sacrifice every day for me, who have my back no matter what. I am truly in this space for my children and their future. I asked a very special person to swear me in, Ida Perez, and for very intentional reasons. As I step into this role again, it is with renewed values and confidence. I met Ida in her neighborhood. I don't remember the first moment, but it was likely at her doorstep, doing grassroots organizing work. We both had a mutual interest in putting people first and shared a desire for a different community. I have spent the last 2 years building something here with my colleagues, a very different infrastructure with a different level of staff support, with a different committee structure. While clearly we still have work to do on continuous improvement, I'm entering a new chapter and want to get at the meat and potatoes of why I'm here serving. I am focused on impact. Impact on quality of life, housing, and creating educational employment opportunities for Rochesterians. Entering this next phase, I am committed to addressing some of the most pressing challenges that face our city. Public safety will continue to remain a central leading focus of the council, but I do want to add additional focus. Let's start with the opioid epidemic. Something that was a large topic of conversation pre-pandemic. This issue must remain high on our radar. We must center the communities that have been most impacted and center those suffering in the thralls of addiction. We have a tremendous opportunity and responsibility to allocate resources to the right places with opioid settlement dollars. And I'll be inserting council into that conversation at the center of it. Neighborhood development and building on the great assets of our city is critical. I believe there are opportunities for us to create more affordable housing units and encourage additional housing rehab across the spectrum of city strategy. In my mind, the land bank is a critical component that we must evaluate and continue to activate as part of our housing strategy, and I look forward to having that discussion with the administration and community. I also prescribe to the notion that neighborhood and grassroots leadership are critical to our success and accountability. We lost some of our neighborliness, if that's a word, I think it's a word, when we were all shut down during the pandemic. I believe we can bring that back front and center with intentionality and investments. Creating opportunities and connections for our residents is important to me. I see what is happening on the ground in my day job. I review requests for things like rent arrears, security deposits, first month's rent, utility bills. I know that there is great struggle and great challenge in our community. This council may not be able to solve everything, but we can create opportunities to uplift our people. A few years ago, I started the Rock the Block employment fairs in the community with the intention of breaking the employer-employee ice. Our region continues to project growth, in jobs and was designated as a tech hub by the federal government. How do we, and I'm talking about the world we, all of us in the room, collectively work to ensure our Rochester residents are prepared for the next wave of Rochester jobs? How do we best position the city of Rochester for those opportunities to relocate here instead of Syracuse or Buffalo? No shade to our sister cities. What can we do to fix the pipeline from our community, from our neighborhoods, to the opportunities that will become available? Certainly, the leadership of council can play a role in this. These are the questions I am pondering and the spaces I plan to lean into. There's so much more, and I look forward to it. I know there will be sleepless nights, and my wife knows all about that. I know there will be painful moments, but the impact we can all have will be my North Star. It will keep me motivated. It will keep me accountable. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to continue this journey. Finally, to my colleagues, I want to end by saying, I value you. We may not agree on everything. We may have difficult moments, but serving this city with you is a privilege I do not take lightly. Thank you all for your service to the community. I believe our best is yet to come. We will now open the floor for motions for the selection of Vice President of City Council. And I would like to make a motion to elect Councilmember Lachey Harris as Vice President of City Council. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any additional motions? Hearing none, I will call a roll call vote.
Can we have discussion?
Discussion, yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes, Councilmember Harris, the role of the Vice President is significant. You sit on all committees. How do you plan to use this role to unify the body and make sure that all voices are taken into account when it comes to decision making?
Thank you very much for that question. Well, I will start by saying communication is key. Staying connected with each other, communication by email as well as verbal, and the relationships. Relationships is a big key. I mean, if we want our body to work together and we want a full vote, that comes back to communication and your relationship. And that relationship is not built overnight. I think about when I was on County Ledge and we were in the minority. So we were forced to reach across the aisle if we had to get something done, or if we even thought about getting something done, because we were in pretty much a super minority. So, and I urge the three of you who are often on the other side of some of our voting to work on those relationships. And I will make a commitment to work on it with you as your Vice President. But I just think that the true work, and the relationship building is something that's not always visual. It's not always shared with everyone. It's all those backroom, I wouldn't say backroom, but I would say those personal conversations, one-on-ones, and sometimes two-on-ones. Those things are the things that builds our government. Those are the things that people don't see, our constituents don't see. That relationship building is very important for government to work. I hope that answers your question.
I think I'm a little unsatisfied with the response, as the narrative about relationships do not take into account many of the real issues we have as a body, like procedures, people not sharing information. Your response of communication, I think that makes sense. But I'm still very open. An additional question would be, what policy initiatives matter to you, and do you have a plan for which you are going to prioritize when you hit the ground running?
So one policy initiative I'm thinking about, because I sit on the ethics board, is ethics. Seems to be a lack of ethics around government as a whole, nationally as well as locally. So one of the things that I'm going to be working on with the ethics board is to shore up our ethics. Matter of fact, add more language to it, add more teeth to it. So, you know, those of us who serve on government as well as in city as staff, that we follow ethical things and ethical procedures. And that's one of the things that I think that I can bring to the table. I come from a background of public safety, and public safety is about ethics, medical ethics, ethics all around.
I will cede the floor. Anyone else?
Any additional questions, comments? Seeing, yes.
You know, in that spirit of getting to know each other better and building those bridges, I think it is very important to go back to an in-person agenda review.
Councilmember Bridget, could you just pull your mic forward to you
sorry.
just a little bit so we can hear you, please? Thank you so much.
Sure. I think it's important to go back to our in-person agenda reviews where all of us are able to meet to talk about the legislation before us and the projects that we know the administration is working on, in large part because we're all there getting the same information. And importantly, we have the opportunity to see where our fellow council members are coming from, what their perspective is, what their questions are and concerns. And oftentimes, a new idea or a new way of looking at something can open up another person's mind and start to think about that, maybe change things. I just find it's critically important that in order to bring this body together, taking advantage of those in-person moments and all of us committing to being at an agenda review and at work sessions would go a far way in making it better. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Definitely we'll take that into consideration with our president as vice president.
Any additional questions, comments, concerns?
Yes. One of the things we've talked about having is a space for council members to meet to talk about various issues. We had one meeting similarly, and in that meeting we were able to, kind of like what you were saying, Bridget, find so much common ground, find so many areas where we align. Would you commit to bringing back those meetings outside of council, outside of our regular organizational meetings or committee meetings, outside of agenda review, to where we are meeting maybe quarterly to talk about our agendas, what's important to us, how we're working well together?
To be clear, you're talking about myself and the president?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I would commit to that. I think that, again, goes back to communication, relationship building. I really believe in the last 4 years, and actually the time that we've had new council members come on after I was initially elected, that kind of broke down over time, and I will admit to that. But those are things that we all collectively have to work on, and I'm willing to commit to that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. You know, it's interesting that folks are calling for an opportunity to dialogue with their colleagues. And I find it interesting because it has been your approach to interacting with your colleagues that has precluded and, quite frankly, soured your colleagues on meeting with you. We could have been having, we used to routinely have these meetings, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that council has always been a love fest. It certainly has not. In the 10 years I've been on, There's an awful lot of council members that didn't like each other, didn't get along, and quietly snarled. But the approach to governing and conversation that y'all have brought to this body has been detrimental. And I am going to speak for myself. When you do better with us, we can have a conversation about, I'd be interested in entertaining a conversation about getting together to do better. But quite frankly, y'all been doing it the way you do it, and this is where we are. You know, if you want something more, you want something different, you might have to do something different. Now, I'm not going to say I'm opposed to doing anything different, because I'm not. But at the same time, we are where we are because of the work that you have done. And
Councilmember Patterson. Oh,
no,
let
me finish. Thank you. So, you know, it is what it is. Y'all want something different? Do something different.
Councilmember Patterson, when I first got on council, I was so excited to collaborate with everyone. You can ask Councilmember Harris when we were in D.C., and she said, you know, maybe not everybody's as excited to work with you. So that was like from the jump, and I remember asking you what your priorities are, and you said, what do you try to do? And I said, I'm trying to work with you. And you said, nah, council members are like cats. We do our own thing. Call me if you need me, but otherwise leave me alone. So your approach to collaboration is not the model. And my collaboration with Councilmember Pio, in fact, the three of us, shows that the problem is not with the three of us. We have collaborated with someone who has very, very different political views that I personally don't like very much. But we were able to put our personalities aside to do work for this city, and to exclude people because you don't personally like us or like how we interact with you is robbing this city of the collaboration that is good for creating good policy. And I appreciate the transparency that you are showing us and that you are showing this community right now.
And my response to that is, funny you say that, and yet somehow or another, 5 of us can find a way to work collaboratively and get work done without you.
When you say yes to everything.
Actually, no. See, we don't say yes to everything.
So I'm gonna move us to the issue at hand.
Came here for Rochester housewives, okay? You know, this is not, you know, let's conduct business, and please, you know, leave all of that for some other opportunity where individuals can come together, and maybe there needs to be some private conversations that individuals need to have is what I would offer for consideration. But here in front of the people, let's do the people's business tonight, so that we can move forward, please.
And I will thank you, Councilmember Lightfoot. I will add that you know, at this point we do have a motion on the floor. I will commit to working on the issues that we've talked about tonight and convening us at some point soon. But there is a motion on the floor for the vice presidency. It's been seconded, and I would like to move us to a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber?
Absolutely.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupian?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe?
Aye.
Councilmember Patterson?
Absolutely.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
President Melendez?
Yes. So we will now have Councilmember Harris sworn in as Vice President. Vice President Harris will be sworn in by Rodney Harris? Rodney Brown. My fault, Rodney.
Yeah, that one.
Are you ready?
I, Vice President
Lachey D. Harris,
Lachey D. Harris,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Vice President of City Council.
and I will faithfully
Faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge the office of the duties of
faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of the Vice President of the City Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
You got in 2 times tonight. All right.
Just had a silent prayer to God. Thank you so much for this journey. I don't take lightly leadership. I'm humble about it. I thank you to my colleagues for their vote of confidence and their nominations of confidence. I will tell you, the city of Rochester, we're going to get our stuff together. I'm optimistic that this body will be different in 4 years. Whether we come together or whether you guys choose to vote us out, one of the ways is going to happen. We're going to get the city together collectively. Because why? Why? Because everybody in this community is relying on us. They're counting on us. And I don't take that lightly. We stand on broad shoulders of people who came before us who did it. They may not have had a pandemic, but they may not have had the things we've had, but they've done it. They've done it in other extreme measures. So I will tell you right now, today, City of Rochester, keep watching, keep praying for us, keep praying for our city, keep praying for all of our elected officials up here, because every one of us needs your prayer, and we all need your support. So continue to watch, continue to challenge us, continue to come to City Hall, continue to communicate with us, continue to build the relationships so we can continue to build Rochester. Have a good day.
Congratulations, Vice President Harris. We will now move on to the selection of the city clerk. Councilmember Patterson, you are recognized to make a motion for the selection of city clerk.
At this time, I'd like to nominate Hazel Washington as the city clerk of the Rochester City Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just real quickly, if you indulge me just for a moment.
Councilmember Lightfoot, yes.
I wanted to speak, and I think I could really, truly speak on behalf of the majority of us, and the consensus of the group. Hazel is amazing, okay? She's amazing. She is. She talk about calmness, just a person that you look forward to seeing when you come into office, and that always is, I think, a blessing when you see some of the challenges that council have, and I can say that that's one of the bright stars and one of the great persons and people that we have here in our office, as well as many of the other staff as well. But I just wanted to say that Hazel is amazing, and it's my honor to be able to vote for her again as clerk.
Well, I will second that, Hazel. And I had the privilege and pleasure of sitting next to you here every meeting. And I can tell you that you're one of the most positive people that are in my professional life. And you're always with a smile even when something's not going right. So thank you for your leadership and thank you for what you're doing. So with that, I will entertain a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris? Yes. I'm sorry, Vice President Harris.
That's yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupien?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe?
Aye.
Councilmember Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Absolutely.
And President Melendez.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations, Clerk Washington. Please come forward to be sworn in as city clerk.
I, Hazel L. Washington,
I, Hazel L. Washington,
do solemnly swear
that
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of City Clerk
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties for the office of City Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you. Thank you. This will be short and sweet. First of all, I'd like to thank God for this opportunity. With Him, all things are possible. I thank you, City Council, for your vote of confidence. I appreciate it. I'd like to thank my staff, my amazing staff that keeps it together, keep everything flowing. I appreciate you all. And I'd like to thank my family for their continued love and support. I look forward to continuing to improve the quality of the service that we provide for the citizens of Rochester. Thank you.
Congratulations, Clerk Washington.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
So now entertain a motion regarding the rules of council.
Move it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
So going back to the, I'm sorry. I haven't had a long time to review the rules, as you know they were submitted earlier today. But speaking to the specific committees, budget, finance, and governance, can you talk about what you imagine the governance piece entails?
Certainly. So I think things like rules changes in the future, as well as any charter review or anything else that we might do related to governance would all fall under that budget, finance, and governance committee.
Thank you. And the other changes, Parks and Public Works is now People, Parks, and Public Works. Could you speak to what that means?
Certainly. So essentially, it's a combination of the PPW, former PPW, and DRIS committee coming together. The People represents DRIS and the work that's being done there. Parks and Public Works, it all aligns from a legislative perspective. So we put those together. There's some months where the DRIS committee was receiving just a handful of referrals from the administration, and whereas we all know that PPW is probably the meat and potatoes of legislation every month. So we thought this was a good way to put some meat onto the committee.
Got it. Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments, concerns? It's been moved and seconded, and we'll move to a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Vice President Harris. Councilmember Lupien.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Monroe.
Aye.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. So now entertain a motion regarding the official newspapers.
Move it.
It's been moved and seconded.
Oh, I can't.
Council Vice President cannot second on that one.
Second.
It's been seconded by, sorry, I didn't catch you.
Me.
Oh, Councilmember Lupien. Any discussion?
President Melendez,
Yes, Vice President.
I will need to abstain.
Correct. So Councilmember Harris Vice President Harris will abstain from discussion and voting as co-owner of the Southwest Tribune. Hearing nothing, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Vice President Harris,
Abstain.
Councilmember Lightfoot, Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Aye.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries 801. So that concludes our business. Thank you all for coming. You're invited to join us in the atrium for some refreshments, and the meeting is adjourned.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know. They sure did. No.